Hello, this is Adam Stark back with another full lyrics breakdown here. Today I'm going to be breaking down my rap called Final Seconds. And basically, I just want to get one thing out of the way first, which is this was originally uploaded back in August 22nd, 2014. And I have it private right now. And the newer upload is January 16th, 2016. I had a couple of flows that I improved on, and I wanted to change some of the sounds, and I want to just improve it basically a little bit more. But just all the lyrics that are there, and you could see that it's basically the same thing, but just to prove it for anybody skeptical, I'll play just a moment of the original one from 2014. I don't got time to wait. I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. I get tic-tocing around the clock. I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. If I don't make it now. Okay, so that was, of course, the original one, and here is the newer one, and I'll be breaking down all the lyrics. So, okay, allow me here. Yep, just give me a moment here. I don't got time to wait. I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. I get tick. Okay, let me make sure we're coming in clear here. Okay, perfect. So now, I'm going to be breaking down all of the lyrics as we always do, and I will be going over my writing processes, any hidden meanings, anything that I feel like needs to be shared about my lyrics, and all of the insider information. So, all right, first thing to note here is this is one of the few rhymes I've ever done where I'm proud to say I actually did a chorus with it. That is by far my biggest weakness as a rapper, as an MC, is writing choruses, writing hooks. It's hard for me to do. I just, in my opinion, I'm not too good at it. But I'll tell you, I am very happy to say that I am doing a good job of writing a chorus in this one, in my personal opinion. So, without further ado, let me go through the lyrics here in final seconds. Okay, so this is the chorus. Okay, so this is repeated 3 times. Okay, the lyrics to the chorus are I don't got time to wait. I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. I get ticked talking around the clock. I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. If I don't make it now, before you know it, I'll blow it. I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. I'll be a senior citizen or an antique stopwatch. That's an old timer. It's the final seconds. Okay, so going with the theme of I calling this rap the final seconds. So I don't got time to wait. I need to make this shot count. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. You know, everybody has their, climax in their career and their peak and everything, and you don't want to waste it. You want to make sure that you know, be successful when you're in your prime and whatnot. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to miss an opportunity. So that part's pretty clear. Okay, then I say I get ticked, as in mad, as in angry, talking around the clock. But it also sounds like I'm saying tick tock around the clock. And that's just simple wordplay, no multiple meanings. It's just simple wordplay because tick tock sounds like clocks, which sounds like final seconds, which it's just wordplay. So I'm saying I get ticked talking around the clock. In other words, I prefer action as opposed to talking. Talking is one thing, doing is another. Okay. So continuing on here with the lyrics, I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. Self-explanatory. If I don't make it now, before you know it, I'll blow it. I need to make this shot count. It's the final seconds. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. Pretty sure everybody understands it. No, you might only have one chance. You don't want to find out later that you didn't make it. So you want to make sure that you're successful now as opposed to failing in the future or something. You want to know that you gave it your all and that you succeeded and not you had your one chance, you didn't take it and you failed. Okay? And the last line of the chorus here is my favorite one. I'll be a senior citizen or an antique stopwatch. That's an old timer. It's the final seconds. So just an easy double meaning here. Everybody kind of figured this out, I'm pretty sure. But the saying old timer, that's slang commonly used for somebody who's old. And a senior citizen is somebody by definition of someone who's old. And an antique stopwatch is literally an old. A stopwatch is a timer, and if it's an antique, it's going to be old. So it's just a simple double meaning because it's just saying, I'll be an old timer. In other words, I will be by the time that I wait to achieve my goals, which is why I want to do them now. It's the final seconds of my prime, of my climax, if you will. Okay, continuing on with the lyrics here. Now these lyrics right here, I want you to know right off the bat, is by far as technical skill is applied, the greatest rhyme ever said about Star Wars, pertaining to Star Wars. And what I mean by that is as far as technical skill is applied, because obviously everybody has opinions, different opinions on what makes something talented, what makes a rhyme talented, what makes a line talented. I get it. I'm saying here that as far as technical skill is applied, as far as hardest to write, hardest to come up with, most complex thought, I definitely take the cake here. I win. I am number one. I made the greatest Star Wars reference, rhyme, rap point ever written, because this is a quadruple entendre, which is this is a punchline, a one rhyme. You say it one way, sounds exactly the same, and it's four implied meanings in one rhyme. Four implied meanings, and it's about Star Wars, something specific. Okay, so add that to my accolades. I have the greatest Star Wars punchline, Star Wars rhyme ever created as far as technical skill is applied. If it's not your favorite, that's because you want another Star Wars rhyme to be better for different reasons. As far as technical skill goes, you have to give it to me by default because nobody else has done this. So let me just get into the line here and I'll explain the four meanings. Invest in a great planet despite its hardship for humans. Avoid the outside or you'll drop. The Ewoks say it's out of this world. People Endorse the spot. Okay, so the quadruple meaning, the four implied meanings, come with the very last part of the rhyme. Okay, Endor, Endor, apostrophe S, because Endor is the Ewoks planet. It's a pronoun only pertaining to Star Wars, but Endor with apostrophe S, giving it ownership. Okay, Endures, Endures, indoors, Indoor apostrophe S, and endorse, Endorse. And those four things sound exactly the same if you say it at the right speed, at the right way. And you see in the sentence here where I put my three dots. That's because you have to slow down at that part, at those parts, in order to make this line in particular pop out, in order to make it work for four implied meanings. So the first meaning is Endor, the planet Endor, apostrophe S, the spot. Endor's the spot. I'm saying it's a great planet I mentioned in my setup. Hardship for humans. Avoid the outsider you'll drop. In the planet Endor in Star Wars, episode 6, they get their asses kicked. The humans do. And so it's something you want to avoid. is going to the outside. It's a great planet, but it's a hardship for humans. Okay, the Ewoks say it's out of this world. People, Endorse the spot. Okay, the Ewoks, and that's how I specifically say Ewoks, because that is the only planet that has ever been referenced for Ewoks to be on in the Star Wars universe, as far as um, books of writing and movies are concerned. So you knew that Endor was the only reference. That it couldn't be a veiled reference for Earth or for another Star Wars planet. It could only have been Endor. That's why I said it in that specific way. Okay, the second meaning of this for implied meaning line is people endures the spot. Okay, to endure pain is to, get through the pain. Okay, you work, let's say you work 60, 70 hours a week at your job. Okay, then let's say that you and five other people do. Well, then those people endures the pain of they endures the job, the pain of the job, because they do it. They get through it. They enduring the pain. You are having the pain. You are feeling it. You are living through it, living with it. Okay, but you do it because it's a job. You need it. You keep it. You don't quit on it. And I'm saying, okay, it sounds exactly the same as Endor apostrophe S. Endorse the spot. Endors the spot. So you endure the pain. So I'm saying people still go on to the planet of Endor because, as you see in Star Wars Episode 6, there was already a ton of people set up on those bases, the Empire, the clones, and Imperial soldiers and everything. So the people endorse that spot. Okay. And I mentioned that it's a hardship for humans, avoid the outside. The Ewoks say it's out of this world. People endorse the spot. Okay. Now, the third implied meaning of this four implied meaning line, endorse the spot. Indoor apostrophe S, the spot. Because I said, avoid the outside or you'll drop, and Ewoks say it's out of this world. People endorse the spot. And that's why I have a little pause there where I actually say it like this. The Ewoks say it's out of this world. People endorse the spot. So I say it like that because in the movie, that's where you want to be. If you notice, they stay indoors and they're not dying. So that's why I say in my setup, avoid the outside or you'll drop. And I mention Ewoks because then you know it could only mean a veiled reference for Endor. Okay. And the final meaning of this four implied meaning line is endorse the spot. And I said endorse the spot, which sounds exactly the same as the other three. Endor apostrophe S, endorse, endures, indoors, and then my final meaning, endorse. I said in my setup in the very beginning, invest in a great planet despite its hardship for humans. So when I say the Ewoks say it's out of this world, well, that's just a slogan. That's advertising, basically. And so people endorse the spot. Okay, to endorse something means to put your mark on it, to basically back it up. To endorse a product basically means to advertise it, to put it under your wing, and so on and so forth. So I'm saying people endorse the spot, and that's why I set it up by saying invest in a great planet despite its hardship for humans. So there you have it. It is four implied meanings in one line, and it's all about Star Wars. And then in my very next line, I actually mentioned that I did it just because I like to brag. And in case people missed this quadruple entendre, four implied meanings in one line, in one rhyme, I actually mention it in my next line, literally, because I want people to know it when they heard this rap the first time. So I literally say, continuing with my lyrics here, I just referenced Star Wars creating four metaphors in one line. So I basically wrap that all up there. I officially wrote the greatest Star Wars line, punchline, whatever you want to call it, entendre. As far as technical skill is applied, you cannot argue that fact. Okay. Now, continuing with the lyrics here, I said, you want to burn down these cold wrappers, but you wouldn't think fireworks on the 4th of July. Okay. Um, it's funny. Okay, cold rappers or hot rappers. You see, that's what I love about hip hop is you can use the words cold and hot and other words of course too, but you can use those words in either a good or bad way, and it's something that's very creative that MCs have made over the years with hip hop slang. You can say that rapper's cold. You could say that rapper's hot. You could say either one, and it basically means that they have talented lyrics, they have talent, they're good at writing, they're good performers, so on and so forth. And so I said, okay, you want to burn down these cold rappers. I'm saying you want to take down these good rappers, as in you want to defeat them. Okay, talking to my haters out there, of course, not the audience, but the haters. I said, so you want to burn down these cold rappers, but you wouldn't think fireworks on the 4th of July. So it's just a simple, you know, a simple comparison, but it's an insult, just a quick, easy punchline. I'm saying, okay, what is going to take down something cold literally? Forget the hip hop slang of cold rappers. What's going to take down someone cold, something that's cold literally? Fire, heat, etc., burning something, okay? And I'm saying even something cold, you, as in my haters, would be so stupid, you wouldn't think fire works to get the job done. You wouldn't, you see something cold, anybody with common sense would think, okay, fire works to take down that cold, substance or product or whatever it is. And then I just made the line funny by saying on the 4th of July, because on the 4th of July, you associate that with fireworks is one of the things you associate it with, of course, patriotism and everything. But fireworks is definitely a big one that you associate with the 4th of July in the United States, that is. So just a funny punchline saying you wouldn't, to take down something cold, even if it wasn't a rapper, I'm saying you wouldn't think fireworks on the 4th of July. So on top of it being on the 4th of July, you wouldn't think fireworks to handle that problem. So just a dope, funny punchline. Okay, continuing on here. Chasing me, but you ain't built to drive me nuts, you wood tire. Okay, so this one is basically just a quick punchline. I don't know if people caught it or not, but I wanted to see. I kind of wanted to go simple this entire rap, except for the very beginning where I did a 4 implied meanings line about Star Wars. I wanted to do simple, crazy, obscure kind of punchlines. This whole rap. So I'm saying, chasing me, but you ain't built to drive me nuts. Now, you would tire. Now, Y-A, it's spelled, is hip hop slang, which can mean you, your, or it can mean you are. So it can mean many different things. But I'm saying you would tire, as in WOULD space TIRE. So you would tire. In other words, you ain't built to drive me nuts. Chasing me, okay, that's implying that you would tire out. You wouldn't be able to keep up and you would waste your time because you would get exhausted trying to drive me nuts and trying to chase me down. You wouldn't be able to keep up. My endurance is better and so on and so forth. But I'm also saying wood tire, WOOD space TIRE, as in a literal tire made of wood. Well, guess what? That isn't built to drive. You can't drive with wood tires, basically. It wouldn't work very well. So that's just a funny punchline right there. You would tire. In other words, I'm calling you a wood tire. You ain't built to drive anything, but also drive me nuts. And I'm saying you would tire, as in you would get tired out. You would, lose stamina and you wouldn't be able to keep up. Okay, next line here. You see what the top names are doing. They're who you want to be. That makes you aspire. Okay, this is a very dope double meaning. Okay, ASPIRE, aspire, and A space SPYER. Okay, those two things sound exactly the same, and the word aspire means someone you look up to, someone or something or some group or some legend that you look up to, that you want to be like, that you want to end up being like, that you want to end on the path that they were on. Okay, And I said, you see what the top names are doing? They're who you want to be. Okay, so that would make you aspire to be like them. But I'm also saying a spire, because aspire is somebody who is obviously secretly watching someone from afar. You're spying on someone. That's what aspire would do. They would be watching somebody and trying to, whatever it is that you're doing, but you would be watching them. And so if you're watching what the top names are doing, and there you want to be, so you're spying on them. So you're spying on them, and you're also aspiring to be what they are. So just a dope, funny double meaning right there. Okay, continuing on here. The filthy animals going to concert at Hawaii till our time's exempt. I'll sit farthest back of the plane where you'll see the islands. Okay, very dope. Now, in case anybody didn't know, Da Filthy Animals, one word, that is the group, the rap label that I'm very proud to be a part of. It is it was a culmination of a bunch of very dope MCs, beat producers, rappers, writers, and etc. that we all met over the internet. And this I rep these guys till the death of me. These guys are amazing at coming up with beats, at coming up with rhymes. At these guys come up with so crazy songs, and they're very talented. And we all live in in different states and everything, but really, really great guys. And so I'm always shouting them out in my raps here and there, and I will simply write a rap one day. I will put them on my YouTube, and then eventually they will get put on a song, a beat made by the producers, part of the Filthy Animals. So very dope. And I'm just always shouting them out. Okay, going to concert at Hawaii. Okay, that's not hard to figure out. Now, what do you think of when you think of Hawaii? Well, at least one of the things you think of is islands. Okay. Now, now look at this. This is the double meaning here. Islands, ISLANDS, and isle ends, ISLE space ENDS. Okay, the islands, I'm saying that's what you see when you look out. What to see the islands, you'll see them. If you look at Hawaii, that's what you have to see on an airplane. You can't look at Hawaii from an airplane up in the sky and not see islands. That's preposterous. You're going to see islands. And I also said I'm going to sit the farthest back of the plane where the aisle ends, where you because the aisle is what you're walking down the path when you're in a vehicle that is for public transportation, and there's seats on your left, seats on your right. And when you get to the farthest back of that vehicle, which in this case was an airplane, the aisle ends, of course, because it obviously has to come to an end. But I'm saying in the farthest back of the plane, that's where the aisle ends. And then when you're looking out the window, you're going to see the Hawaii, you're going to see islands. So just a dope, funny double meaning right there. All right, continuing on here. You want the hose? I'll teach you since you ain't getting it. Get money, then label your body parts to let them know where the interest is. Pointed at my arm and said, social tax it. Pointed at my pants and said, social security it. Okay, this is by far one of the funniest punchlines I've ever written in my entire life. It's hilarious and it's extremely dope. And it's one of these things that I'm proud that I was able to come up with first before somebody steals it in the future. So I'm doing, I'm playing on the little bit of, you know, what we rappers like to call, confidence and whatnot. And I'm saying, okay, I'm basically talking to the audience. I'm saying, you want the hose? Now, that's one of those things where you know you can differentiate the real women and the hose. There's a complete difference. It's a clear difference. They're different human beings, different creatures, basically. But now here's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying you want them. I'll teach you. I'll drop knowledge for you since you ain't getting it. And getting it is a veiled reference for understanding, as in, are you getting it? Are you understanding what I'm saying? And of course, getting it means, getting laid and everything. Okay, so I'm saying this is my funny way of teaching you a lesson about this. I say, get money and then label your body parts to let her know where the interest is. So now you're curious as to what I'm talking about. So I say, point at my arm, okay? Do it yourself. Point at your arm and say, social tax it. Okay. Now, so in other words, your arm, you need your arms to work out everything. That's how you excel and you do your jobs and everything. You use your arms. Okay. So that's what's going to be taxed on you getting to the point of getting these hoes. Okay. And then and tax and social security, those two things, they go hand in hand. They're different, of course, but they're on the same wavelength as far as um, things that your money goes towards when you work, when you get your paycheck back. You don't get to keep all of it, of course. And then, so I said arm, because so then that I'm going to make another comparison. So she's going to tax it. She's going to tax your arm because, you're going to work hard, and then that money's going to go to these hoes. And guess what? You are getting taxed by it, by your hard work, your work coming from your arms. Okay. Then I say, this is one of the funniest things I've ever written. Point at my pants and said social security it. So you think I'm only saying social security it, because the previous line I said my arm, so she'll tax it. Okay. But now I'm saying social security it, because now I'm saying this is what I'm going to label my pants, social security it being the pants. And what's funny is if you listen to how I word it, I actually created a funny ass double meaning, because social security it, SOCIAL space SUCURITY space IT, sounds exactly the same as SO space SHE apostrophe LL space SUCK space HERE space IDIOT. So she'll suck here, idiot. Okay. Just hilarious. I'm basically saying, okay, point at my pants, and then I'm labeling it for the money. So I'm saying social security it. But which is it, the pants, which is also a reference for private parts. But then it's funny because if you listen to it, I'm saying, point at my pants, so she'll suck here, idiot. As in, I'm calling you an idiot for not knowing how to get these hoes. And I'm saying, this is what you do. You label it, you tax it for your arm, you're making the money, you're working hard, the money gets you noticed by the hoes, and then you point at your pants, so she'll suck here. As in, so you'll get a blowjob. You'll get a blowjob here. So just a funny ass line that I wrote. One of the funniest things I've ever written in my entire career. Just hilarious. Just I'm so proud of myself. Nobody else came up with something as crazy as this. With the wordplay, with the reference and everything. It just came out perfect. So continuing on here. Potheads want to kill me. I don't want to get smoked. Time to outsmart 'em and take control of this. Tell the potheads I have paper, and they all roll with it. Okay, this is hilarious because I'm saying in this, imaginary reference, I'm saying, okay, potheads, they want to kill me, and I don't want to get smoked. Okay, potheads obviously smoke. Duh, no, everybody figured that out. But I'm saying I don't want to get smoked. To get smoked is also slang for getting shot, getting killed, getting murdered, or getting whacked. Okay. And I'm saying, I told the potheads I have paper, and they all roll with it. Okay. One meaning of that is that there's a common saying, we've all heard it before, that, oh, they roll with it, or let's hope they roll with it. What that means is they go along with with the lie or with the idea. So if I say, if you guys say, okay, say I'm driving a bunch of people and they say, Adam, what are we having for lunch? And I go, oh, just we're gonna drive and just roll with it. That means I'm basically saying, okay, I'm gonna see something I like and we'll just stop there. Okay, roll with it. The other meaning that I'm using here is, of course, I say paper. Now, paper is slang in hip hop for money, but it could also mean literal paper, and I don't make it specific enough to mean either one. So that's how it's a double meaning. So I say they all roll with it. So if they have paper, then they can roll marijuana with paper. So it's just a hilarious double meaning there. I'm saying these potheads are so stoned that if I simply say I have paper, hopefully they'll just roll with it. And I'm saying if I have literal paper, that they could roll with it for marijuana as far as instead of killing me. Okay, hilarious. Now continuing here. I'm surprised they heard how far my aim was. Can't jump my fence. Only one got your ear after all the guns I lent. Okay, this is a funny, dope double meaning here. In the I have to say it slowly in the end for it to actually work as a double meaning. Guns I lent, Guns space I space Lent, and guns silent, Gun apostrophe S space Silent. I said, okay, so I'm only one got to your ear after all the guns I lent. So if I lent a lot of guns, then it's crazy because I said I'm surprised they heard how far my aim was, and only one got to your ear, only one after all the guns I lent. So there should be a lot of guns, as in I'm distributing a bunch of guns in this hypothetical rhyme. I'm saying that only one of them reached your ear if I lent a lot of guns out there. And then I'm saying that you're surprised how, how they heard how far my aim was, and heard, and then I say got to your ear. Well, heard and ear, those are synonymous. And I said, after all, the guns, gun apostrophe S, the guns silent. Well, then how would you like if the gun's silent after all? How would you hear it? So just a dope, funny double meaning there. Continuing on here. I'm not like you. Being abnormal is what I'm great for. I can fall asleep having fun on a wakeboard. Okay, so this, again, like I said with this entire rap, is I wanted to be unorthodox. I kind of wanted to go insane and be crazy. I didn't want to have a bunch of implied multiple meanings and everything. I wanted to just be weird. I wanted to have obscure, askew, weird punchlines that I wanted to write something in a whole new way. I wanted to just, broaden the surface of what we're known to do as writers and not be so technically sound, but just kind of crazy, just go off the rails a little bit with punchlines, because that's another type of creative way of writing. Anyways, I'm basically saying here, okay, being abnormal is what I'm great for, okay? And I'm saying I can fall asleep having fun on a wakeboard. Okay, a wakeboard it's kind of like a skateboard. That's the only way I can describe it. And no, I'm not an expert in that stuff, so don't quote me, but it's like a skateboard. Okay? And I'm saying I could fall asleep, and falling asleep and being awake, those are the opposite things. And being bored, not as in a physical board like a plank or a skateboard board, but bored as in not having fun. I'm saying I could fall asleep having fun on a wake board, because those are two opposite things. Asleep, awake, and fun and bored. Those are completely opposite. I'm saying I could fall asleep while having fun being on a wakeboard. Just that's how crazy I went. I wanted to be just silly, crazy. I wanted people to say, "Oh my god!" And but realizing, and then again, it's talent in itself. If you take it literally, saying I could fall asleep having doing something fun while being on a wakeboard, being on something the opposite, and being on something that's moving, that's mobile at the time. Okay, continuing on the lyrics here. Take your shot before I repeat the number. I'm considered toxic, but I'll toxic and quietly recover. Rock climbing down the longest precipice. Money stacks too small, but you don't listen. That's not what you call deaf, is it? Okay, so the first two lines here are basically pretty simple, but I'm basically saying that, um, you know, take your shot now, because if I repeat the number, as in this is one number that I'm doing right now, of course, is this rep. I'm saying I'll just keep going and do what I'm doing. So take your shot now before I get bigger and bigger, going with the theme of the final seconds too. So, I'm considered toxic. Now, toxic, Toxic, and toxic, Talk space Sick, they sound exactly the same, but so that's just a dope little way of making things that sound the same go together. I'm saying I'm considered toxic, which I mean dangerous in the rap game, but I will talk sick and quietly recover. So if I'm talking sick but quietly recovering, if I'm sick, that's toxic. And I'm talking, that's not quiet, that's loud, or at least not quiet. And I'm saying I'll quietly recover. So that's opposites because you're recovering. If you're toxic, that means you're not feeling good, or you're recovering. That's different. That's the opposite. So you're talking, that's not quiet, and then it's doing something quietly recovering. So just opposites. But I'm also saying here, okay, rock climbing down the longest precipice. Well, that just shows, okay, I'm brave enough to do that. Okay. And, money stacks too small, but you don't listen. Now, this is the quick double meaning. Deficit and def is it. So DEFICIT and def is it, DEAF space IS space IT. So basically what I'm saying here is, okay, if you can't hear or you don't listen, as I say, sorry, that's not what you call deaf, is it? Because being deaf is somebody who cannot hear. They don't have the ability to actually hear things. Okay. And then a deficit is a loss in money, taking a loss. If you're in a deficit, that means you're going down. That's not a profit. That's a deficit. So I said your money stack's too small. Okay. Is that what you call def? Is it? Or is that money stack's too small? That's not what you call def, is it? So just an easy double meaning. I'm pretty sure everybody figured that one out. Okay, then another chorus comes. Okay. And I already explained the lyrics of the chorus, so I don't have to go through them again. And like I said, I'm very proud of the chorus I came up with because it's hard for me to make one. I only have a few choruses in my entire career, in my entire life. For some reason, that's my biggest weakness is coming up with them. But when I do feel like I actually do a good job. It's just I'm not going to pretend like it's my strong suit. It ain't. I wish I could do that with every one of my rhymes, but I certainly cannot. But so continuing on here, after the chorus, I go, I don't build the suspense to hear bars when I'm rhyming mean. I give punches right out of the gate like the Scarface riot scene. And what I'm trying to say with this line here is, okay, I don't try and start a rhyme light and then just go crazy in the middle or so. I hate doing that. I like to just start off going 10 out of 10 right away. I don't want to start off weak and then you hear me throughout the rhyme get better and better and better and better. I like to start out just amazing, already on point, like there was no need for a warm up. And I'd like to starting off great. That's what I love to do. So I basically say I don't build the suspense to hear bars and I'm rhyming mean. So and then I say I give punches right out of the gate. Now that's a common saying, right out of the gate. That's saying that means right away. That means at the beginning. That means from the start. That's what the slang saying right out of the gate means. Okay. And then I say I give punches right out of the gate. Well, punches obviously in hip hop, that means punch lines. So I'm saying I give punches right out of the gate, as in I give you punchlines right from the start. So I don't start off slow with my rap, with my verse, and then I heat up in the middle or so. No. I start out at the beginning already on fire with lyrics. So I give punches right out of the gate, but then I also make it a dope simile. I continue further by saying, like the Scarface riot scene. Now, the movie Scarface, if you've seen it, referring to the Brian De Palma production with Al Pacino, very, very, very amazing movie. I love it. It's one of the best movies ever made, in my personal opinion. And if you've seen the movie, there is a riot scene where they are in Miami and all the Cuban refugees are having a riot. And if you watch closely at the bottom of the screen, when the camera is panning around, there is a fence, which is synonymous with the gate. And what's happening at that gate is there are there are refugees sticking their arms out of the gate, throwing punches, like at the security, at the officers, at the defense, whatever they're called. They're throwing punches at them. So punches out of the gate, that's what happens in the Scarface riot scene, and that's also what I'm saying I do, is I come up with punch lines right from the start of my rhymes, okay? All right, continuing on here. Got my hands dirty as a YouTube rapper, superb superhero with tons of fight left in me. Soccer is similar to women. You cut corners and kick it to score. Want to bet me? I would wrap around the net, but I've touched on that already. Okay, very, very, very dope line here. This is one of my favorites in this rap as well. So, okay, the beginning part is just saying, I got my hands dirty as being an amazing rapper who is on YouTube, and that I always have tons of fight left in me. In other words, I'm always ready for war. I'm always ready to keep writing and stuff. So I'm saying, okay, I'm making a comparison of playing the sport of soccer, um, which is also called football outside of the United States, because we're not talking about American football. We're talking about football is what they call it. But I'll use soccer as I do in this rap, because that way everybody in the United States will understand what I'm saying. Soccer, I compare soccer to trying to score with women. So I'm saying, okay, soccer is similar to women. You cut corners and kick it to score. And then I say, you want to bet me, as in I'll prove this comparison is true, even though I've already sort of proved it in this line. Okay, in the game of soccer, you have to cut around the corners of the goal, of the post and everything. And obviously, you have to kick the ball into the net to score. Okay. And then with women, okay, I'm saying if you cut corners, as in if you skip steps, as in if you skip the whole, you know, let's date 20 times and then start, having sex or whatever. I'm saying you cut corners in that way, but I'm also saying if to kick it. Now, to kick it is a common saying. Everybody knows what this means, but it means to hang out. Okay. Hey, you want to kick it with me? Whatever. Okay. Now, to score, now scoring is either you're making a goal and you're completing it, whether that's soccer or not. And to score also means to get laid. Okay, so that one was pretty easy to figure out. Then I continue by saying, I would wrap around the net, but I've touched on that already. So this is very dope, because I'm saying, okay, wrap RAP and wrap WRAP around the net. Now, the net can mean the internet or the goalie's net in soccer. And then I say, I've touched on that already. Well, yeah, I've literally touched on the net by scoring a goal in soccer and with the ball kicking, of course. And then when I said earlier in this setup that I was a YouTube superhero rapper, tons of fight left in me, that of course means that I had already touched on that, as in that topic. I've already touched on that, as in talked about that topic. To wrap, RAP, wrap around the net, around the internet, wrapping. And then, of course, wrap, WRAP, as in wiggling my way around the net to kick in the soccer ball to score. Okay, very dope comparison there. Continuing on here, try to size me up, but too bad I attack better. My kitchen must be big. You can't believe my countermeasures. Okay, so this is a dope line right here. So it's a double meaning. Countermeasures, it's the exact same thing as its double meaning, except one is a one word and the other is two words. Counter space measures, or one word, countermeasures. Okay, to a countermeasure, okay, one word, countermeasure means a rebuttal, means a instant attack back. A countermeasure is a defensive strategy, like an immediate defensive strategy. So if my countermeasures are to, you know, jab you every time you throw a punch, that's my countermeasure. You attack me, my countermeasures is to jab you quickly back. Okay. And now I'm also saying you try to size me up. Now, to size me up, and then I mentioned my kitchen. Now, size me up, that is a slang saying. I believe, rest in peace, Big L was the first to coin the phrase. I could be wrong, but I believe it was him. But to size me up is a saying that means you're trying to, kill me, attack me, beat me up. But I'm also, if I'm saying literally, size me up, okay, I'm talking about my kitchen. Now, you wouldn't believe that my countermeasures. Now, my counter space measures, what are in kitchens? Counters. Okay, my kitchen must be big because you can't believe my counter space measures. You can't believe how big my kitchen counters are if you measure them. But I'm also saying you try to size me up, attack me, but I attack better, as I mentioned. It's like you can't believe my countermeasures, as in I attack better than you, even though you started it. Okay, so very dope double meaning right there. Continuing here, I know I'll find my way. It must succeeding with no tears at stake. You want to see yourself shine? Bring a flashlight in a mirror maze. So this is just a funny line, but I'm basically saying, um, I'm first of all, I'm making something that sounds alike. Suck, seeing, and then succeeding. Okay, so I'm saying I'll find my way. I'm gonna win. Basically, I'm saying, but for the haters out there, it must suck to see someone succeeding. Okay, very simple to figure out. But I'm also saying, okay, you want to see yourself shine, bring a flashlight in a mirror maze. I'm saying you're not gonna win. You're not gonna see yourself shine, which is a saying, and which means to succeed, to shine. To see yourself shine to means to succeed, to be successful, to win, whatever you want to call it. Okay, to be in the spotlight, and no pun intended to the meaning of shine. But I'm also saying here's a way you can literally see yourself shine is if you have a flashlight and in a mirror maze. If you're in a mirror maze, that means every single direction you look in, there is a mirror. So you will see yourself no matter where you're looking, up, down, left, right, center. You will see yourself in a mirror maze because everywhere you look is mirrors. And who's going to be in there? You're going to see yourself. And if you have a flashlight, then no matter what, if you have it on, no matter what direction you're looking in, where there's only mirrors in yourself, you're going to see yourself and you're going to see a flash of light. So that's that way you will see yourself shine. So it's just a funny comparison punchline right there. Pretty sure everybody got it. Okay, continuing on here. Your angry side rises, showing through the eyes. Keep that bitch locked down, or you'll see the continual rise. Very dope. This is a double meaning. This is also one of my favorite lines I've ever written in my life. Okay, so the double meaning comes with the part continual. So first is continual, Continual, or the second meaning, cunt in yule, Cunt space in space YOU''LL. Okay, now it's goes like this. Okay, I'm saying that you have an angry side, and I said that it rises, showing through the eyes. Okay, and I'm saying keep that bitch locked down. Now, that's a slang saying to keep that bitch locked down. I'm basically saying the angry emotions you have, I'm saying keep that bitch locked down. As in literally keep it locked down. Keep it bubbled up inside of you. I don't want to see it come out. And if I'm saying that it's your anger is rising and it's showing through your eyes. So I'm saying keep that bitch, as in the angry emotions you have, locked down, or you'll see the continual rise, as in the nonstop rising of you having anger and you being a bitch. But I'm also saying I'm calling you a cunt, and I'm saying keep that bitch locked down, and then it works as doubling because I say or I'm giving you an option. I'm saying or you'll see the cunt in you apostrophe LL, the cunt in you will rise. Cunt is another word for bitch. Obviously, those are two insults that basically mean the same thing. I'm saying you'll see the cunt in you will rise. If you don't keep that bitch of emotions you have locked down, then the cunt part of you, being the bitch in you, will rise. And I said through the eyes. That's where it shows. So obviously it has to rise because, there's nowhere above the eyes that you can see it from, as I mentioned. So you would only have that downward in your body, spiritually speaking. So just a dope double meaning, the continual rise of the bitch that's in you, or the cunt in you will rise. So just a very dope double meaning, hilarious. I know one of my favorite lines I've ever written for sure. Continuing on with the lyrics here. You used to hate my songs. Better get your doctor's pardon. He'll say you're sick of me growing on you. Now the fungus started. Okay, very dope double meaning. Now, it comes with this part. Fungus, Fungus, and fun gets, Fun space Gets. Now, you have to say it at a certain speed in order for it to work as a double meaning, because it doesn't sound exactly the same unless you say it the right way, the right speed, and you have to have the T sound very quiet, almost silent, for it to work. And that's what, in a lot of words used in hip hop slang, you take the G off the end of ing. Instead of running, you can say running. And, you can silent the T sound, and you, instead of saying gets going, you could say guess going. You know, that's just something you can do with hip hop slang that I've learned over the years. So now what I'm saying is, okay, you used to hate my songs, okay? Now you got to get your doctor's pardon, and he'll say you're sick of me growing on you. Now, what grows on a person that would make you sick? A fungus. So now the fungus started because you're getting sick. The doctor would, as I mentioned, the doctor says you're getting sick because of me growing on you. That means the fungus has started because you're sick. Your doctor said so from growing on you, which would be a fungus. But I'm also in the double meaning saying that, okay, you used to hate my songs, and then the common saying growing on you, which means, which, when you say something's growing on someone and it's not a fungus, what you're saying is that it was something that they did not like, but if it's growing on them, that means that they are starting to like whatever that is. So if you say, well, you know, I never liked country music. Okay, I hate country music. And then a week later, your father says, well, what do you think about whatever? You seem to be listening to this country singer more. Well, I guess it's growing on me. That's a common saying. So it means that that's you now. You didn't like it, but now you are liking it, whatever it is in your own, use of it, of the phrase. But in my use of the phrase in this double meaning, I'm saying my songs, because I said you used to hate my songs, and then I said he'll say you're sick of me growing on you. So for me, that's good. So I'm saying now the fun gets started. But I'm also saying the other double meaning, which is sick. Doctor said so from me growing on you. So the fungus started. Okay, just a funny double meaning punchline. Continuing on here. Big, small, whatever. I say treat every fight like it's my last round. It's like a pooping contest because every piece of shit counts. Okay, so this is very dope. It's very simple. I'm just saying one thing that I absolutely hate is taking a fight lightly. No matter who it is, no matter what sport it is, no matter what it is, I hate when people try and tell other people that this didn't count because it wasn't an official game, it wasn't an official match, it wasn't an official fight or whatever. I'm saying no matter who it is, if you are a basketball superstar and you go onto a regular court in a high school, okay, you're a basketball NBA superstar, and you go onto a court like a high school court or whatever. Okay, I'm saying take that just as seriously. Don't lose and give the excuse that, oh, you weren't trying so hard, because it doesn't matter. There was no referees, there was no television cameras, so it just doesn't matter. It wasn't being reported by ESPN, so it doesn't matter. I'm saying I hate that. I hate that mentality. If you're playing somebody in high school and you're a professional, it's what you're paid to do. If you are a championship martial arts fighter and you're going against um somebody who never had a fight before and they're entering the ring their first time, take it just as seriously. And I'm mentioning in here that I do. It might me personally, Adam Stark. And so I'm saying it's like a pooping contest. Every piece of shit counts. Well, a pooping contest, which is something I'm making up in this example, but if there was such a thing, then every piece of shit meaning poop, would count, because if it's a contest, then you're counting what? Of course, poop, shit, the amount of it. So I'm saying that, but I'm also saying piece of shit as in somebody who is in my sport or in my particular talented interest, who is far less known and less respected and at a much lower level than I am, who you would say every piece of shit counts to me, because if somebody spent their very first day rapping and they started dissing me, I would take even that fight seriously, that beef, that rap war seriously. Because even that piece of shit, let's say they made one video and it had one view and it was fuck Adam Stark, whatever, and then they made a rap about me and where I'm saying even that piece of shit would count for me. I wouldn't take it lightly. I would, you know, do my best to demolish that MC. Okay, so no off days. Doesn't matter what their fame is or whatever. I'd take it just as serious. Okay, continuing on here with the final line before the chorus, which I've already broken down. I don't take it easy, dickhead. Every foe is fucking done. You must have failed sex ed if you don't know where I'm coming from. Okay, so this is very dope, funny punchline, but I'm basically saying, I don't take it easy. Every foe means enemies, is done. So that means every one of them are going to get destroyed by me. Okay. And then I'm saying, you don't know where I'm coming from. That's a common saying. If you don't know where I'm coming from, that means you don't know what I mean. You don't know, you can't relate to what I'm saying. So if we'll use a different example. Okay. If I say, if you grew up in the hood, okay, and you are trying to explain to somebody who grew up in the rich suburbs with 3 butlers and 2 maids, and you try and tell them what it's like to live on the street, you're going to tell them, you know, oh, you don't know where I'm coming from, as in not the literally the place, but as in you, that rich person could not relate. They would not know where you're coming from with what you're saying is your hardships, because their hardships would be a lot different. Okay. But in my saying here, I'm just saying that every single foe is done for. I don't care if they're a professional MC in this rap game who's been on the radio for years and they're very, very, rich from hip hop or highly regarded, or if it's somebody who literally their first rap they ever wrote in their life was dissing me. I'm saying no matter who they are, they're done for. And I'm saying you better know where I'm coming from. You better understand that I'm saying I don't have that mentality of this person's not big, he's not popular, so he's I'm not gonna take him, or excuse me, that I would take him lightly. No, I'm gonna take him just as seriously as if he was, somebody that you all regard as great today or yesterday or next week. And then I just made the line funny by saying, you don't know where I'm coming from, as if you failed sex ed. Because sex ed, obviously, sexual education, one thing you would obviously learn is about ejaculation. And coming, of course, is another slang term for ejaculation. And I also called you a dickhead in the line leading up to this in my setup. And if to not know where I'm coming from, as in the slang of ejaculating from, it's going to be the dick. Okay. And you would have failed sex ed if you don't know that. And if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know understand what the person's point of view is. But I'm also saying you failed sex ed if you don't know where I'm coming from, as in literally where I am ejaculating from. You must have failed sex ed. You think I, ejaculate from my finger, from my ear, from my kneecap. Well, if you don't know, then you might have failed sex ed. But if you know sex ed, you know where I'm ejaculating from, then hopefully you also understand what I am saying in the bigger part of this, which is that every single foe, whether popular or not, is going to get the same treatment and treated just as serious in my battles. Okay, so this is definitely one of my favorite rhymes I've ever written here. Final Seconds. It actually has a chorus. I'm very proud of that. So, anyways, any more questions about my lyrics you may have? Anything you feel like I didn't touch on enough? Any questions you want to know? Anything more about my writing process or anything? Click like, subscribe, send me a message, write me a comment. I will answer my fans and critics out there. And thank you very much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.